This program is brought to you by Magic the Gathering, the trading card game of strategy and imagination. It sounds fucking good.
could happen in these cathedrals we roam, where shadow people dance and trade their glance and walk home alone. Staring out the window of the Roosevelt Hotel, watching Midtown empty out and a kiss of farewell. They say we come from nothing and to nothing return, and in between is gravity and bridges left to burn.
It's me. It's CGB. I'm the Brawl Hall 3 champion.
Congratulations to Covert Go Blue on the win.
And I have taken on all of your favorite YouTubers. I have destroyed them all. 497 damage.
Yeah, that's minus 32. Right, Agent Treachery. Hi, buddy. Look at Craig's face. He knows. He's like, no!
I think this just proves that evil will one day triumph over us all. Why not cast the Nexus of Fate? Wait.
True villain mode has been activated.
I play a different deck every single day. Sometimes we end it quickly. Sometimes we end it slowly. I will never back down. I will never miss a day. The streak is going over 600 as we speak, and there is a lot more left in me. Can't imagine why this had to go. If you think you've got what it takes to challenge the one in Best of One, you know right where to find me. Let the nonsense begin. Welcome. The eternal night has fallen. There will be darkness. But will there ever be light in the studio again? Let's find out. Oh, hi there. You know, all I need for the vampiric vibes, I need the fangs. Dude, we're trying to bring some fresh vibes back. You know, we're retroing ourselves. We got the older intro, you know? Remember the older intro? We're bringing back Gunship. We haven't played Gunship on this channel in about 6 months because of copyright stuff. Don't worry about it. I've still got up the Extra Life campaigns. I'm going to be taking them down, but you guys can still donate. Thank you very much for how much you raised. Freaking amazing. Like, you know, you guys really go hard on that stuff, and I appreciate you. So before, you know, as I'm taking off my overlay, thank you everybody who donated Extra Life. Like, you guys are amazing. You really are. Where do we finish up? Where do we finish up? Show me this. $7,441. Woo. Guys, give it up for the dojo. You guys represented. Thank you so much. If you weren't able to donate, that's okay. Give it up for those who did. Raising money for charity for kids who, well, they're stuck in the hospital, man. The least we can do is hook them up with some video games. That's what Extra Life does. Just tries to make life a little better for kids stuck in the hospital that can't go home. RN299 is our burn game champion. How do we do burn game stuff here? Well, the last of the shark tokens are an endangered species now. I have all that's left of them. All that's left of them here in my dojo. And whoever drops the last burn in the burn game, well, they get a shark token in the Hall of Champions dedicated to them. So, today's last burn, the person who did it before we ran out, that was RN299. RN299 on this, the 9th of November. Behold. If you ever join the Patreon or you're at an event that I'm at and you want this, let me know. Otherwise, this shark will live a privileged life in the Hall of Champions. If I can get out the right sleeve, I'll totally show you what that looks like in a second here. Totally smooth. There it is. Look at that. Look at that. There you go. Raw. So, what's up, guys? How are you today? Level 3 hype train already, which means I've already missed a lot just doing my intro. Anna Marie, thank you for the Prime. RN, thank you for the Prime. Tara, 17 months, thank you very much. Prudent Emphasis, thank you for the Prime. Suriano, Prime, thank you. Furbot, thank you very, very much. Leo as well. And Lord Kaiju, LK, 17 months. Really? 17 months as well. You and Tara found me at the same time? How about them apples? Crazy. Crazy. It's been so long for some of us, man. I feel like it was just yesterday. I was like, who the hell are you and why are you posting my chat? Let me tell you why you're wrong. And now here we are. You've been giving me money for 17 months. What a great relationship we have. So, friends, countrymen, lend me your ears. Hitzel, thank you for converting from a Prime sub to a Tier 1. Very cool. Ken Zhao, thank you for 16. Kagorizgi, 16. A pair of 16-monthers. My gosh, you guys have just been itching. You've been itching to drop those subs. I appreciate you. Thank you. So yeah, I thought, what do we do? How does one farm watch time content, Twitch subs? How does one fill a day? Well, it would normally be useless. We could go play ladder. That format's basically dead. It's 2 days from death. Let's do what lots of people do. Let's farm that content. Let's farm that content game and do a set review. Makamba, thank you for the Prime and the 18 months. Appreciate that. Hi. DP is king. Your last message got deleted for reasons. If you post it again, you're totally justified in getting banned. Take a hint that this channel's not about you. Thank you. Jesus. What's the matter? It's about me. Benbot, thank you for the 100 bits. Appreciate you. And yes, I am a jerk live. Get used to it. Oh, man. I've been using my Prime sub on you for half a year. Figured it's time to commit. I appreciate that. And yes, it is good to help out other creators if you're willing with Prime, even if you don't help me. Editor on ArenaCraft podcast was on point. Loved when he labeled your crafting Rex as content plays. What? All right, I gotta tell you guys a secret. This is a very important piece of information. Last night's... Let me get in this corner. Last night's... today's episode of the ArenaCraft podcast that went up today on YouTube. I didn't have time to watch it. It got back to me really late last night, and I just put it up with faith in the editing system. That, you know, the deal is I throw money at editor, they do things that are good for me. There better not be anything that makes me look dumb. Oodles, thank you very much for the Prime and the 10 months. Love Vamps. Show us the set. Before we do that, as much as we're enjoying this sweet music, I had a great time. Last time we did reviews, we ran into an MTG Remy video, which I've never really watched, and it was fun. So I said we need to do, every stream needs an MTG Remy video. So I'm going to do another one. I'm going to do them until I get DMCA'd or sued. So we're going to warm up today's show with an MTG Remy video. I've never seen these. So let's frickin' go.
Kenny, it is my turn to. A tiny creature's all I have to hold on to. I know you think it's like the others before, but it's electrostatic pummeler. Kenny, I got this number, energy 69. So how much damage am I taking? It's 675309.
No! Is that real?
675309.
No!
675309. Penny, you're the card for me. You're just a 1-1, but you make me so happy. I had you in hand before, but I lost my nerve. I tried to hard cast you later, but I was abjured.
No!
Kenny, I got this number, energy 69. I can block this time blank shoot. It's 675309. 867530.
Oh my god, is that real? Is that how math works? Nope. Just one. We gotta space this stuff out. That sounds glorious, but we gotta space these out. We gotta do like one a stream, man. These are too much fun. Check out MTG Remy on YouTube. Castiel, like from Supernatural 66. Thank you for the 4 months. Appreciate that. Oodles, thank you very much for 10 months. Appreciate you guys a lot. My God, that's funny. That was, that's beautiful. I couldn't feel better. So, on that note, set review. Set review. I don't know if I'll get through all of it, to be honest. But here we go. Real simple. I'm doing A, B, C, D, that kind of stuff. I'm not reading them. I already read them for like a bunch of other shows. So if you don't know what the cards do, try to read on screen while I grade it. All right, and I'm not grading no limited crap. That's how it's a complete set review. Adam and Will, nah. Limited card. Angelic Quartermaster, limited. Arm the Cathars, limited. Bride's Gown, limited. See? It's very fast system. By invitation only. The Sweeper. The Sweeper, where you can keep a thing if you have more things than your opponent to start with. Pretty cool. Card is, to me... What do we give a Sweeper that gets around indestructible and can leave you with a board state and your opponent with none? What do we call that? I mean, this is a B- to me. I think the format has to go a certain way for this card to see play. There's plenty of formats where this will see zero play. But if the format does go that way, I think that this has its moments. Also might be a good sideboard card. B-. Worse in most decks than Doomscar. Better in some niche situations that may not exist in the format. But B-. Phaedrus with the conversion to a tier 1 sub. Thank you, my friend. I know you've been here a long time. All right. Cemetery Protector. Had some debate on this card. Actually, a lot of debate on this card. A lot of debate on this card. You're saying cemetery wrong. You take that back. It's cemetery. It's not a freaking what is it? Like a geometry term, okay? It's not symmetry. That's not a thing. Symmetry and symmetry aren't it's too close. We can't touch that. Tara, all right, Tara, you're American living in UK. Cemetery or cemetery? A or B? Cemetery A, cemetery B. What is it? What's the answer? Settle this. A. You're damn right. You've made the right choice. I don't have to ban you now. All right, cool. Everybody else chiming in, you're awesome. Thank you. Appreciate that. All right. So how about this Cemetery Protector? This mythic, this thing that makes 1/1s. What do we give this card? I want this card to be good, but the stats just seem a little under what we're looking for, and I know it's so hard to ambush anything. C. Very likely that this just doesn't matter. It could have a role, but its ceiling isn't that high. Either it just doesn't matter at all, or it kind of plays this bit part, I think. It doesn't take over games really at all. Blah, blah, blah. Thank you for the 12 months. That's a year, dude. All right. Circle of Confinement. Guys, there's going to be a lot of cards where I'm like, this is a good removal spell. It gets a B. Because what matters with removal spell is the colors it's in. Do those colors need this removal effect at this cost? And are there targets for it that actually matter? And yes, if those things exist, it's probably a B, because how much you're going to play the card moves up or down depending on how popular the cards that it hits are and how important it is to hit them. It takes something broken like a Swords to Plowshares to be an A as a removal spell. So, Circle of Confinement, you're gonna basically get a B. Why? Why does this one get a B? Because Old Growth Troll can go up its old growth butt and into the Circle of Confinement. That's why. Freaking hate that card. And when you Brutal Cathar it, all that happens is the opponent uses Blizzard Brawl and your Brutal Cathar dies, and they get back to your troll and you still die. So we needed something to exile it that wasn't a Brutal Cathar. That wasn't, and also trades up in mana like Circle does. So that does look painful. Circle of Confinement, solid B. Dawnheart Geist. Whenever you cast an enchantment spell, you gain 2 life. D. Super niche. It is a spirit. It has relevant types. The body has points where that's almost playable. But might be a place for it somewhere, somehow, but probably not. Big old D. Big D right there. Limited. Also, if they have 2 sides and I'm already bored after the first one, I'm not even reading the other side. Limited. Faithbound Judge. Defender Flying Vigilance. It's a 4/4 for 3. The backside, you enchant a player, and if they do nothing, if they don't kill you for 3 turns, they lose. Also, if they do nothing about the enchantment. And it's a frickin' mythic, guys. Oh, man. Oh, man, guys. This card, I think alt wing cons are fun. I really do. But in my guts, it's a D. I want to give it a C. I really want to give it a C. Meaning that it could show up sometimes and isn't completely horrible, but my gut says it's a D. What is it, guys? Chat, what do you think this card is? This is one where I could be wrong. It trades with Goldspan. Yeah, you know, if it doesn't die or get bounced like every creature without an ETB does against Goldspan. When's the last time Goldspan got successfully blocked? Never happens, baby. Impossible. This sounds like Egg, but it's not, though. Egg flips and has cool abilities. Really low opportunity cost. This is a net of 10 mana. You have to invest 10 mana into this thing to get the backside action. A new win con. No! I don't see it, man. This is better? Better than Egg? I see some people giving it D's. Speak up. Somebody says S+. What are you, crazy? Dude, I don't think this is any good. This is one where I admit I could be wrong. My guts say that this is no good, though. My guts say Dead Mythic. I'm gonna stick with a D. It's a really hard one, but I'm sticking with a D. Fierce Retribution. Interesting removal spell, because you can just 6 mana destroy a thing, 2 mana destroy an attacking creature. Sometimes, guys, even in standard, you get destroy target attacking creature for 2, and you play that. It's happened. But this ain't it. This ain't it. This is a D-. Even as a removal spell. Fleeting Spirit. If there's a tier somewhere for cards that just annoy me, that only annoy me, this card goes in it. It's really, really, really good against like blue-white. It might be decent against Izzet. It's very good against control, and it's very terrible against creatures. Very terrible against creatures. So what do we give a card like that that's really polarized? Like a C-, C probably. In best of 1, I don't know if you can put this in your main deck. In best of 3, maybe this has a sideboard spot, but there might be better options for those same spots. So going average, we got a C. Griff Rider, no. Cavalry, no. Hollowed Haunting. We will grade all the rares just on principle, even if they suck like this. This is a mythic, by the way. Enchantment Tribal. Guys, I can't find an Enchantment Tribal deck in this. I can't. This gets a Kamigawa grade. A K for Kamigawa, because Kamigawa is probably going to have the Kamis and the Hondens and some enchantment creature and enchantment stuff going on. And then this card, we'll see if this card gets there someday, but right now this is a F+. It gets the F, baby. It's just not there yet. All right, limited. Hopeful Initiate. Hopeful Initiate. I get a lot of flack for this card. Arjuna's not feeling this card. Chat's not feeling this card. I'm still feeling this card. I don't know, guys. This little 1 mana 1/2, this trainer. The only problem I have with it, it's not good in multiples, and it's not good with other 1 power cards, right? Because it can't train itself, and it can't train with other 1 mana cards. So that makes me a little nervous. But I think this card is good. Like, 2 or 3 seems pretty natural for a white aggro deck. And it goes good with the Usha, and it goes good with the Aspirant. It's a little awkward with Aspirant because, you know, you're not growing it on the attack, but you're growing it with the Aspirant instead. But still, having a 2/3 is really important against Cinderclasm. 2 of this and 2 of the dog. Yeah, so Zephyr, I'm thinking something like maybe 3 of this and 2 dogs. Something like that. Or 3 of this and 1 dog. It's not a bad thing for white aggro to have a few more 1-drops if they're playable. It's just been lacking them. But yeah, some mix of this and the dog. I don't think it completely replaces it. Anyway, this gets a B. I'm giving it a rock solid B. Because I think that a lot of decks that want a 1-drop, this is going to be one of the better ones they can play. Although Usher is probably still the go-to. This is the sidekick. This is Robin. If you're on the draw, it's dumb. You know what's dumb if you're on the draw? Everything. Maybe not Loyal Warhound, but that's all. You know what's dumb? Being on the draw. That's right. Catilda, the Dawnheart Martyr, is 1 in a white legendary spirit warlock. It's got a billion lines of text and it transforms into something. And this gets a... It's got flying and lifelink. That's a lot of abilities, but its power and toughness are equal to the number of permanents that are spirits or enchantments. And I don't see the enchantments, and I kind of see the spirits. But I still don't, like... I'm not excited for Spirit Tribal, guys. I don't think there's enough. Filipa Carola, thank you for bringing a 32-person raid. Guys, welcome the Raiders. Can we get some spinnies? Can we get some CGB spinning emotes for the Raiders? Welcome to the show. Also, show some purple love. K for Kamigawa. Yeah, K for Kamigawa on this one. In this set, it's a D. I think it will show up absolute 0, but it's not a failure. It will have its opportunities later in the format, probably. Giving it a D in this set. Thank you, guys. Thank you very much. Lantern Flare. You get a combination of Helix and Kabira takedown that can hit him. And you get a cleave cost that's red. Ooh. I don't like this card. But it might have a role. It might have a role because I think life gain might be a thing. A thingy McThingerson. Good for another. Thank you for the 5 gifted subs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Appreciate that. This card is really narrow. Really only works in one kind of deck. I don't even think that deck's going to get there. C-. I'm giving it a C- because it can only be so bad. And it can swing races. C-. It's got a good ceiling. Just really terrible floor. No. All right, let's talk about this. A white mana for a 1/1 human cleric with vigilance. Sacrifice this escort. Target creature you control with a +1/+1 counter gets lifelink and indestructible. It's totally dog. Dude, it's obviously not dog. But does it have to be? I mean, you kind of like to protect things that you put +1/+1 counters on, right? You would like those not to die. So, I don't know, man. A protected ass pirate might be really good. You feel me? It gains lifelink too. It's pretty good for racing. This card makes me a little nervous. It might have some very good usefulness. I feel like you need more ways to put counters on things, but maybe this, if you play this card, you want to also run Star Pupil. You know, that's pretty good. What else? How else do we make the +1/+1 counters thing good besides Ass Pirate? Felidar Retreat, too slow. Not excited about that. Ranger class. I don't know if I want to play this with Ranger class. That's a really slow way to do it too. The new Pridemate. New Pridemate is a very good example. Very good one. This might hang out with the new Pridemate. Monk of the Open Fist, Code Spell Cleric. Yeah, it does fit that deck. Ugh, I hate that deck. So yeah, this might have a role. It won't fit into most decks. It'll be bad rate in most decks. So it gets a C- from me. Very narrow card. but doesn't mean you'll never see it. And it might really annoy you when it does show up. Dragon Architect, thank you for the tier 1. Not reading that. Too many words. Not reading this. Piercing Light. This is more play with fire type stuff of just trying to slightly push cards we've been used to having. 1 white instant, 2 damage to an attacking or blocking creature, scry 1. I have played 1 white, 2 damage to an attacking or blocking creature before in control decks. Like 2 of. C-, D+. You don't want to play it, but maybe it helps just a little. Maybe it's just enough. Something's got to kill Thalia, man. Thalia has to die. This might have to do it. I'd hate to do it. You should probably play Portable Hole, though. What else we got here? I'm giving it a D-, but this is a sorcery speed disenchant that gains 3 life. So if there's a lot of artifacts, enchantments, and the Book of Exalted Deeds is your card, you'll play it. Sanctify. All right, Savior homeboy here. What do we think of this incredibly complicated exiling stuff from all kind of graveyards mythic? Is it a trap? They say trap in chat. The tambourine player here. As a mythic. We gotta play with it. I feel like I'm missing something about the card until I play with it, but to be honest, for its cost, for what it does, I'm going, like my gut says, a D. I'll give it a D+. But I'm giving it a D. I think there's too high. The floor is too low. You play this, it dies, nothing happened. The floor is way too low, I think, for this card. Way too low. Nope. All right. Sigarda's Summons. Creatures you control with +1/+1 counters are become 4/4 flying and angels. 6 mana. Olsen, thank you very much for the tier 1. Angels? People like angels, man. They like them. You know what I like to do when somebody tells me they like angels? I graded an F+. F+. The pieces just aren't there, and it's too slow. It's just not there. F+. Thalia, Guardian of Thraben. Reprint. Really moody art. My God, what an annoying card. Every control deck I think about, Dimir, Esper, blue-white, I'm like, I don't know if I can run that with Thalia in the format, dude. Have you thought about Divide by Zero with Thalia in the format? Like, everybody's so annoyed with how good Divide by Zero is. Have you thought about Divide by Zero in a Thalia format? It's so bad. It's terrible. Which is why, like, you need your, you're gonna need to, like, dramatically change the construction of your black-blue and your blue-white control-ish decks. And Izzet can just kill it. You know, Izzet has cheap damage spells. So Izzet's like, pew, done, good. King into North, thank you for the sub. Nathraka, 85, thank you. But man, this card is so mean, guys. It's so mean. And I'm giving Thalia... Oh, I hate it. I hate it. But Mono White's already so good, and this is the tool it needed to be even better. I'm giving Thalia an A. A-. It's not a perfect card. If it lived in a world of like Goblin Chain Whirler, it wouldn't matter. Who knows when they'll reprint that. But Thalia gets an A for me. An A. Shambling gas exists. Wow. You put that together yourself? You can probably come up with at least 5 or 6 other legal cards that deal 1 damage or give -1/-1 to a thing. Doesn't matter. They're pretty narrow. And this card is ready to mingle. So yeah, I give Thalia an A. We're going to put her over here on the A list, which is a little, a page I have off to the side where I'm going to keep all the A players to review at the end. Traveling Minister. Traveling Minister. Look at this card. 1 white, 1/1 human cleric. Target creature gets +1/+0 until end of turn, and you gain 1 life. This is like the best version of that effect we've ever had. The best Soul Mender we've ever had. And it comes right when we have the best Pridemate we've ever had. This card is a D player. It is a D player, but it will show up in that deck. You know, the exact deck where a life gain trigger means everything. It's a bad card that will show up in possibly a good deck because the life gain cards will make it better. Deathball, thank you very much for the Prime. I'm going to lose to this card more than Thalia. That's for sure. Yeah, okay. Okay, buddy. Okay, buddy. Next card, Valorous Stance. Destroy target creature with 4 toughness or greater. That's a lot of creatures, as those who saw the ArenaCraft podcast can attest to. Katanomics, thank you very much for the Prime. Gains Indestructible is a pretty good fallback plan if they're not playing any creatures for you to target. Bye-bye Egg, bye-bye Goldspan Dragon, bye-bye Leer, bye-bye Troll, bye-bye Adeline. Really doesn't miss. Can you win the name cards game against Twitch? No. I mean, yes, I can beat Twitch. I probably can't beat chat, if that's what you mean. Anyhow, Valorous Stance, B player. It gets a B for me. Oh, God. Oh, God. No. No. Voice of the Blessed. 2/2 rare. The greatest Pridemate ever created in relevant types. Both Cleric and Spirit are good types. My God, this card is going to be out there slaying it. Absolutely slaying it. You're going to run into this card so much. How good is it really? It's not amazing. It dies to all kinds of 2-mana spot removal. It dies to Doomblade. Bouncing it is good. So there are a million ways to deal with it. But it will just, if unchecked, and especially in aggro versus aggro, it will just take over a game. Just take over a game. And it's going to bring back this archetype in a big way. There's going to be so much of this on ladder. So much. So what do we give it? What do we give a card that shapes the arena meta without being good? You know what I mean? Like, Thalia is such a better card in every way, but what do we call a card that's going to shape the meta without actually being the best thing in the meta? Oh my God. I almost want to give it an A because it's going to give me a lot of free wins because my control decks are going to enjoy this card a lot, and the cards around it that try to make it better. My control decks are going to love this card. But if I'm being honest, it's a very, very strong niche card. So that to me is a B. It's a B. Not quite a B+. It just can't exist in a vacuum. It's garbage without playing life gain cards. Life gain cards are mostly bad. So it's a B. Just a B. But it's a hell of a B. All right, wedding announcement. Endless text. It's an anthem, it's card draw, it's token generation. If you're willing to wait 3 turns for all of it, What is this card? How do you rate this card? The only thing I know for sure is that Dr. Bumcheeks is going to have a hernia. Oh, yay. Man, I don't know how to evaluate this card. Everything about it is good except for how long it takes to get what you need out of it. Also, the attacking with 2 or more creatures, it might actually be hard. It does require you to not develop your board and keep attacking the opponent to get the payoff. It's a sideboard card at the very best. You don't want to just be running your creatures into bigger creatures to get the payoff. That's terrible. If it's a sideboard card at the very best, and even then it's sus, that's a C- to me. I'm going to grant Wedding Announcement a C-. But you two are looking fine. Congratulations on having those outfits up your sleeve for just such an occasion. Welcoming Vampire. Hi! Welcome to my place. I'm so happy to see you. Once per turn. Once per turn, guys. Only once each turn. Man, does that get old. Card's a C- to me. And the main reason is because of what it's competing with. It's competing with really, really, really good cards, B+ and A players. And I don't want to play ahead of any of them. I don't want this instead of Skyclave Apparition, or Brutal Cathar, or Redain, or Elite Spellbinder, or Maul of the Skyclaves, or Adeline. There are 6 other white cards in line ahead of this. So, what about in Mardu Vampires? I mean, if you're going to splash white for Edgar, maybe a splash white, and you play this too, does it fit into that? It's kind of below rate. It's not really what you want to be doing. So, no. Nah, you're a C- player for me. We'll see. One of the things about the C players is they are format context dependent. As things rotate and things change, they'll be reevaluated. This looks pretty bad to me. Finally, someone to read the cards to me. Stone, you shut your dirty mouth. I am not here to read cards. I'm here to talk about cards. I've already read these cards out loud on videos and podcasts 15 times, and I'm not reading the whole freaking card ever again. You shut it. Hi, Strider Stone. Shout out. All right, guys, we've been live for an hour and 2 minutes. I would say for about 40 minutes of that, we've been doing the set review. We finished the color white. We're doing okay. We're not as fast as I want to be, but by God, we're faster than everyone else on the internet. Cemetery Illuminator. This mythic thing, Exile's thing, then you can cast things from top of your library thing. Doesn't have flash. It's a 2/3. It's got the same problem as the Welcoming Vampires. There's a bad rate. And while there isn't that kind of competition in blue, blue is just going to get run over playing this card, man. They're just going to get run over if they play this. I cast Cemetery Illuminator. Yeah, you're only a little shy of beating the Old Growth Troll there, buddy. Nope. This card is a... Oh, I'm going to be harsh because it has a lot of cool text. It has a potential for card advantage, but I'm giving this a D+. Like, not a good grade. I'm giving this a trash mythic grade, baby. Cobbled Lancer. 1 mana 3/3. As an additional cost, exile a creature card from your graveyard. Exile this from your graveyard, draw a card. This is a whole different animal. A zombie horse, guys. This is a whole other thing. And this is a hard one to grade. The rate is insane. It's a 3/3 for 1. You have to exile a creature card from your graveyard. You know what happens if you play a lot of creatures in your deck? They end up in the graveyard, just by nature of them trying to kill your opponent. So it's not like casting this is going to be too hard. Also, you just can, for some reason, randomly draw a card. It's 4 mana, but it is instant speed when this is in the graveyard. I think that's mostly flavor text, but it's nice. I want to know where, you know, your 1 mana 3/3 on turn 2 or 3 is exactly where you want to be. So my instincts are like typically that a card like this would be a C, but I think it's better than that. Because it kind of fits in a narrow deck. It doesn't really redefine a format or anything. But it doesn't seem that hard to play this card, you know? Especially with cards like Eaten Alive, Village Rites, Deadly Dispute, and anything like Self-Mill and Blood Tokens. There's so many things you can do with this. Yeah, I think that this is a good card that fits in a narrow amount of archetypes. I'm going to give it a B- because it needs to be in a very narrow range of decks, but you definitely play it in that deck. And it can be, you know, it's very strong. It puts the clock on the opponent, man. It's a pretty darn good card. I'm going to go B-. I'm really not sure, though. This is one where it could be a B+, it could be a C-. Like, it's got a wide range. I'm plotting in the middle. Consuming Tide. Bounce everything except for that one thing you wanted to bounce. Probably draw a card. I can't help but wonder if this card's better than I think it is. With Teachings of Archaics, you probably get a lot of cards. You probably draw a card from casting this. If your opponent's down to one thing, you can just Fading Hope or Fateful Absence that to get the last thing. But I don't know, man. When you're missing their best thing, it can't be that good. It can't be that good, right? The ceiling is terrible. What if they just have one thing? You bounce literal nothing and draw a card, maybe? It's really bad. D+. I think that the odds are pretty high that this will see 0 play. But I'm going to try, because I like the look of this card. But I don't think I play this in Lear. I mean, I think if it goes somewhere, it is probably in Lear, because you get to keep your Lear. And if they try to go wide around Lear so that all your bounce spells don't stop it, you play this, and you probably draw a card from that. So, my gut says D+. My gut says that we're probably not gonna see this card in Standard. That there's probably better ideas. That we're working too hard to make it good. We'll see how wrong I am. No. Dream Shacklegeist. 3 mana for a 3/1 flying spirit that at the beginning of combat like taps a thing or makes a thing unable to untap. Oh, these spirits, man. Just give them flash, man. Let them play big tough magic, you know? I mean, it's a good aggressive card, but just can't get excited about it, man. I can't do it. If spirits are really good, this is struggling to make the cut in that deck. So, D+, C-. Is there a way that this gets there? Like, if you have a Lord out, this hits for 4 and the opponent can't block you, that's really good, but yeah. C-. C-. Everyone is going to be groaning about spirits. That's what you're afraid of? You're never going to lose to Thalia, but everyone's going to be groaning about spirits? Yeah, okay. That sounds like a heck of a format. Geistlight Snare. If you like spirits, you'll like this. 1 in a blue. You get Mana Leak. But you gotta have a spirit or an enchantment. Too narrow. C-. Maybe before the end of the format, there's enough enchantments and spirits that this card starts showing up. But much like Lofty Denial, it didn't show up until near the end of the format because you need a critical mass. Giralf, Visionary Stitcher, 2 and a blue, 1/4 zombies have flying. Sacrifice stuff, make XX zombie thingy. Sacrifice toughness. Is this card better than you think it is? Like, this card would be trash in current format. Trash. But if you're playing Zombie Tribal in the new format, which has a lot of 3/3 zombies, it's got the 2 mana 3/3 zombie, it's got the horse. Now it says zombies you control have flying. Now it's Wonder. It's freaking Wonder. You guys, you Zoomers don't know about Wonder, baby. Wonder just, oh my God, everything gets flying? What? No, you guys don't believe? Dude, evasion is good. Evasion's really good. You get in the sky, you just beat them to death. I think this is better than people think. I thought this card sucked the first time I read it. Then I remembered how many zombies with actual stats there are now around the format. The Headless Rider, you know? You're playing a lot of like 3-power zombies. You get in there, you win the game. You know, beating people to death is important. How much hidden reach does green really have? They're trimming on Ren. They don't run Sentinel. Seems to me like this card could be okay, like a 1 or a 2 of, maybe a sideboard card. Now, that being the ceiling, C+. That's up from like, I would have given it like a D+ or a C- last week. I think I give it a C+ today, having seen the set. So I think this is better than people think it is. I think everybody's writing this one off too fast. Now, how about the sacrifice ability? Does that do anything? I mean, I guess it's just good resilience. It can be done at instant speed. It's not a sorcery. All right. Hullbreaker Horror. The Kraken. Ladies and gentlemen, bring it back. We need our memes back. It's been a long time since Clash of the Titans remake. It's been a long time since people made a joke and someone actually laughed at it, where like they went to the bathroom and on their way to shut the door, they said, "Release the Kraken." And everybody was like, that's funny. It's been a long time since that. It's like an old meme. Is it time to bring it back? Are we releasing the Kraken again? I think it's time to re-release the Kraken. K Mercer, thank you for 1 year on tier 1. That's really awesome. The Seattle hockey team is all about this. That's true. That is true. It's time to re-release the Kraken, everybody. All right. What is this card really? It's a game breaker, but it probably comes out of the sideboard for certain matchups. But it's an absolute game breaker in those matchups. That to me is talking about like a good B. So probably a B+. B+? I'm down with B+. Why does it have to say non-land? So people like you don't drive all the normies out of the game. Yeah, B+ player, awesome card. It's gonna be so much fun. Inspired idea. Guys, do you like reducing your maximum hand size? I think you only play that part once, and I think if you play it once, it's not the end of the world. And it's cheap enough that you can draw your cards and then make some plays so that you keep your momentum going. I think it's probably only a 1 of, maybe a 2 of, if that's really, really good. I don't think you ever run 3 or 4. But I think there's enough spots where you should and want to run this. It's often going to be correct. I call it a B minus. B minus. It's not tremendously better than the other cards that could fill that spot, but it's just enough that running 1 or 2 makes sense. B minus. They just don't let you draw 3 cards for 3 mana. That's like cheating in Magic. So I think this card fits in, you know? What happens when you play 4 of them? You can't draw and instantly discard. Oh, Lemon Cookie, think about it. When does your maximum hand size actually take effect? When does it matter? Think about it. When is the only time during your turn that your maximum hand size matters? That's right, at your discard step, the very, very end of your turn. You can have as many cards as you want during your turn. You just gotta have them all out of there by the end. By the way, only the nerdiest Magic players talk about this with Wizard class Reliquary Tower and Seagate Restoration. That's how you know you're dealing with a true, utter, complete nerd. Anyway, moving right along. Jacob Holken. Inspector. 1 in a blue O2 Jace wannabe. Legendary. Guys, this card. Research has revealed, yes, the opponent, if they want to keep you from flipping it, has to respond to the trigger, and you don't have to pay the 6. There's no way that you pay the 6 and you don't get the transformation and priority if you pay the 6. You do not get scammed. You can't pay 6 and then not get your free spell, which makes a big difference in the card. Big difference. Also, you can do it at instant speed. So, you can do this whole thing on your opponent's turn, but you can't play a free spell that turn. So, depending when and how you want to force priority, we'll have to see where this card fits in. When I first saw this card, I thought it was terrible and slow, and you would get blown out. Now that I know you can't really get blown out, it's kind of a free roll, and your opponent has to think about and deal with it. I don't know, guys. I don't know. Card might be decent, but how many? It doesn't pair great together. I guess it does, right? You can just, if you draw multiples, you just discard them. And then when you have the enchantment, you can cast one of the exiled ones for free. So it's not terrible in multiples. It's not great, but it's not terrible. I don't know, guys. This card might be really good. It's not like your blue deck is doing anything useful on turn 2. Maybe you're foretelling a Doomscar, and that's not the matchup where you want this anyway. I don't know, guys. Give me some grades. Spam what you grade this in chat, because I'm torn. I don't think it's a C. It might be a lot better than I think it is. Because I remember Jace Vryn's Prodigy. Everybody thought Jace Vryn's Prodigy was horrible, and then it was format defining. In previous season, they said all the things about Jace Vryn's Prodigy that they say about this. All the same stuff. So I don't think it could be a C. I think it's better than that. I'm torn between like B, B+, A-. Like that's the range I'm in. That's the range I am in. I think C is too low. Cautious B. We're gonna give it a cautious B. A careful, cautious B. It might be a lot better than that, though. If you're all looking around being like, they need to ban this card in a few weeks, I didn't say it was that bad. Go easy on me. All right. Mirror Hall Mimic. It's a clone. You can disturb it into a followed footsteps. 2 Timmies do not make a spike. F. F frickin' minus. I know, I'm a horrible person. Necroduality. I've seen a lot of people trying to make standard decks with this. It is the cheapest we've ever seen, like an endless cloning effect. And the zombies are good now. But there's like such a low floor. It's such an easy card to mess with. I'm like D plus C minus range, guys. D plus. D plus. There are a lot of zombies that can do a lot of cool zombie things, but I just don't think it's enough. Overcharged Amalgam. Flash Flying Exploiter that counters things. I was really excited about this card when I saw it. There still is probably a deck to build around it. I don't know how good that deck is. The rate of everything else is more interesting to me than the cards I want to put around this. But this card is probably really good. It's like a Frilled Mystic or a Mystic Snake with evasion. At worst case, it's a 4-mana counter. That's not good. It does ambush Athalia. Wah wah. Or anything else with just less than 3 toughness or less and 2 power or less. It pushes you towards creatures. I don't think you want to... I think you can play this in Zombie Tribal. I don't think you need to. I don't think you need to. It is pretty darn sweet with Sedgemoor Witch. You know? Pretty sweet with Shambling Ghast and Eye Twitch. It's good in a lot of places. So what do we give this card? B plus? B? It doesn't go in every deck. You have to have the right shell, but I think it fits that shell like a glove. Opponents can do interesting things to play around it though, right? Like if you have one creature, they can kill that creature on your end step and then you're kind of stuck and then, I don't know. Then they go for their play and then you have to play this and sacrifice it instead of having the 3/3 and you just played an overpriced counter. But that's the fail state and you still countered their spell, right? Yeah. B. I'm gonna go with B. Maybe a B plus. Yeah, it's tough. B. Patchwork Crawler. The worst version of Scavenging Ooze. D. There might be a card printed someday that makes this card better than it looks right now. But I am not patient and will not wait for that day. Yay for limited cards. They let me skip stuff. Syncopate. Syncopate. Exile. Universal targeting. B. Probably one of the better counter spells that we could play that we can actually cast on turn 2. Good card. Thirsty for discovery. It's you, Twitch chat. C. It's a solid effect, but like these cards have gotten worse and worse over time as card draw becomes more of a thing that also puts stuff on the battlefield, and this doesn't. Slow. You know? Only fits in certain decks. They need a basic land right now. The non-basic lands are great. It's a C. Wash Away. The Great Epiphany Killer. Does this end the Alrund's Epiphany menace forever? Is this and Elite Spellbinder the greatest combo the world has ever seen? Planeswalker Chris, thank you for the 8 months. This card is good, though. Okay, let's narrow the scope. Is this the best 3-mana counterspell in Standard? Is this the best cancel they've printed in the current Standard? I think it's reasonable to say it is. I don't think that's crazy talk. Now, there's still plenty of ways to say, yeah, counters aren't that great anyway, though. Counters aren't where you want to be. There's plenty of times in Standard where that's true. It's definitely not true right now. I mean, just if you look at tournament results, everything that's spiky has a lot of blue. A lot of blue. To be an A, it would have to be an all-timer. And I don't think it's an A, because this is not applicable to everything. It still is meta-dependent. So I am giving this a B+. A B+. Because it's effective... It's incredibly effective in this format, and it is a universal targeting card. And I think it will kind of revitalize and help some archetypes that couldn't exist. I'm thinking like tempo decks like Azorius and Simic that need to keep the blue-red deck on their toes and try to keep that thing in check. Also, like, you can just have a treasure and no blue sources, and just with one treasure you can wash away an Epiphany. That's pretty freaking sweet. Like, that'll gotcha, you know? So, yeah. Card's dece. This card, Stop Leer. Yeah, try countering one of those flashback spells with Leer with this. See what happens. See what happens there. Yeah, you can come back here and report to me right after your shame scoop of sadness. And right after your opponent spams nice at you. Alright, Winged Portent. 1 blue instant, draw a card for each creature with flying you control, or 6 mana, Simic, each creature you control. Wow. Art gets an A. I like the art. Card gets an F. Witness the future. 2 and a blue sorcery. Target player shuffles up to 4 cards from their graveyard into their library. Look at the top 4 cards of your library. Put 1 into your hand, the rest on the bottom in random order. A+. A+. I finally don't have to play any creatures or anything that deals damage of any kind to win. Finally. Finally. And I don't have to run the way too expensive, way too fragile Devious cover-up. Shout out to Lady Lavinia's rating with a party of 73. How are you doing on this wonderful day? Can we get some purple Hedron love in the chat to welcome our raiders? I want some emote spam. We are just going down the list at lightning speed. This is a constructed focus set review, so we're ignoring cards that would be limited, and we're just trying to fly right through them with some hot takes, such as this is an A+. No, this is a C. This is probably a C-, to be honest. The real talk is C-. But in the right hands, who knows? Limited. Ah! The Purveyor. D-. huge trap. What I love is just how wide the range is of what people think of this card. I grade this a D-. Lady Lavinia's, thank you. How is the set review? It's going. Just hot takes, straight hot takes, up and down. What do you think? I like this set. I'm excited about this set. But some cards, man, some people think some cards are insane, and this ain't it. I think that this shows up 0 in competitive standard. 0. I think the downside's brutal. I think it dies too easy. I think its best case scenario is some kind of sideboard play. And if it's in the sideboard, people will sideboard in things that take advantage of it. D-, and I'm sticking to it. D- in standard. Cemetery Desecrator. Who poops on a grave? This guy. That's the face of one who poops on a grave. So expensive, man. So expensive. So slow. C+. Like, there's a world where this card becomes good. But the format has to change dramatically. It's a desecrator, not a defecator. Hey, let me have my things. A lot of Twitch chat doesn't know the difference. Yep, I mean, it can be a good card if we're playing like a turn 7 format, you know? This card is playable in standard, just not this standard. So C+. Concealing Curtains. Controversial one here, guys. A 1-mana 0/4 wall defender. You can transform it. And when you do, you get a 3/4 menace. People have to take their hand, you take a card from it, they draw a card. What do you guys think of this card? The Revealing Eye? I feel like people either get this card or they don't get this card, man. There's people who really don't like this card. This card is a rock-solid mid-range card. It is solid against aggro. It is reasonable against control. I also think this Activate as a sorcery is kind of eh. I also don't know if the clock is good enough. But the Menace is really good. If it didn't have Menace, I think it would be a big problem. But with Menace, it gets in, you know? What do we grade this card? This strikes me as a B. There's going to be times where you want it. It's going to be an okay role player, but it's never going to make or break, you know, your deck. It's not going to invent new archetypes. It's not going to blow the doors off. I think this is a B player. Solid card. Solid little card. Demonic Bargain. 2 and a black. Exile the top 13 cards of your library. Fetch a card. Everybody seems to hate this card. I don't think it's that bad. I think there's a good chance that this is okay in a certain type of deck. I don't see that right now. I don't know what deck that is right now. So for me right now, it's like a C- or a D+, because I don't see it the way that things currently are. Like, why would you tutor instead of just put another solid card in the spot so you don't have to tutor for it? Because there's no tutor target that breaks a game right now. Do you guys agree with that? Think about it. What matchup are you in where you tutor for a specific card and the game is over? It doesn't really exist, right? Not right now. When it does, maybe it's worth it. So, yeah. I don't know, man. I'm giving it a D+. I've thought about it. D+. You also have to think about it like this. Because you exile 13 cards, there's a good chance if you're only running like one of that card you want to fetch, you're just going to exile it. And it's very sad. It's not good. Not good at all. By the way, whoever said it's a +13/+13 for the dog, Go build and try that deck. And then report back to us when you shame conceded because you don't know how cards work. And then we'll all laugh together. It'll be fun. All right. What do we got next? This is actually a fun little role player. This card actually comes up. It doesn't see a lot of standard play, but it's actually not a bad little card. I think Jadar's way better, though, so yeah, that's not going to see play. D-. Dread Fugue. New Thoughtseize. Caligoop, thank you for the prime. Is this too narrow, or are the curves low enough that this hits a lot of things that you want to hit? This has got to be like one of Strider's favorite cards because it's just a Stone Rain. You hit their Shatter Skull Smashing, their Jwari Disruption, their Spike Field Hazard. You know, you hit their Tangled Florahedron. Just straight up land destruction card. It's non-land. Yeah, but those are spells. It works the way I say it is, because those aren't lands. They're spells. Nerd. It's fine. It doesn't break the mold. But it is a cool option. I think this card, honestly, will be one of the more overplayed cards. People will be too excited about this card. Like, usually a solid removal spell I give, or a counter spell I give a B. This is like a B-, I think. Is it better than Duress for best of one? It very well could be better than Duress for best of one, which is something that I do like about it. It could be much better than Duress in best of one specifically. So yeah, I give it a B-. Maybe it's a B in best of one. Dreadfast Demon, 7 mana, 6/6 flyer. At the beginning of your end step, sacrifice a non-demon creature. If you do, create a copy. I'd never read this card, that's why I did it now. 7 mana. Sacrifice a non-demon. If you get this with Olivia and you sacrifice Olivia, what happens? Like, it exiles itself, but you get another 6/6. F. Dying to serve. Whenever you discard, I gotta read some of these because I don't remember what they do. Whenever you discard one or more cards, create a tap 2/2 zombie creature token. Ability triggers once each turn. It would be busted. It would be busted if it didn't say once each turn. There'd be some nasty combo. D-? D? Well outside of playable. Let's go with a D. There might be printed some cards that make discarding a really good thing for you. I don't know. Falconwrath Forebearer. Man, I thought this card was cool the first time I read it. The more I've thought about it, I'm like, so many sad things will happen to this. Like sad things will happen to this. And I don't think there's enough blood that you're reliably like discarding this to a blood token, then bringing it back by sacking 2 more. There aren't like it's not that easy to get blood. Not as much as you hoped. Not as much as you hoped. Only really fits in a blood deck. Even in that deck, I don't know if it gets there. C-. I mean, I haven't given up on it completely, but I think you have to be really skeptical of this card at this point. C-. Fell Stinger. Fell Stinger. This card. 3 mana, 3/2 that draws 2, sacrifices a thing, has Death Touch, is a zombie. I'm not gonna lie, as somebody who plays a lot of that Blood Money deck, I am tempted to give this an A. I really am. I think this card is really, really good. But I don't think it can be format defining alone. It really needs something cheap to sacrifice, which does limit the decks it goes in. But this card is really good. Really good. B+. I'm not kidding. This is one of the most, I'm not going to say innocent, but it's one of the most average looking cards I would ever consider giving an A to. Because I think it's really good. But I think I think the reasonable grade is a B+. It just has a quicker, faster board presence than the Merchant, and that's a big deal. You know, that's a really big deal. I think this card's great. Absolutely great. But I also think you don't have to play it in Blood Money. Like, I think this in Rakdos or in Mono Black Aggro puts a hurt on people, man. Oof. Like, it just keeps you gassed up and it trades well, so the opponent can't just have a bigger creature than you and stop you from attacking. It also does target, right? Target player. Just put it in a burn deck, baby. Let's go. You just burn your opponent with it. Gift of Fangs. D+. This card could show up. It needs, like, we have to care about indestructibility. We have to get Fading Hope to take a frickin' break and stop making everything miserable. But this card could be good in the format if the format breaks the right way. All right, D+, but it could definitely be on the come up if the format changes. Graph Reaver. If Planeswalkers were good, like if this were the War of the Spark meta, this card would be like B+ pushing A. It would be shooting for A range because you just had to destroy Planeswalkers or you lose the game. As this card is right now, in the format we're in right now, I haven't had like a 3-mana 3/3 in black without a like bad downside like the one that gives the opponent a human. I think Slaughter Specialist is horrible. This is much better in my opinion. But I'm not sure just how good that gets, you know? And we don't have a sweet Zombie Lord to buff its toughness. But I think this card is good. And I think the zombie deck, I don't know if Zombies gets there without this card. I think it's a cornerstone. I want to say B. And the biggest thing, like this becomes a B+ as soon as there's a Planeswalker you actually need to remove with it. But I think it's just kind of a B, a solid threat. You know what I mean? A very solid threat. That tax kills it? No, it doesn't. This is like the easiest tax to pay of any downside you've ever considered for a card. This is one of the least relevant that there can be. It's a 5% life tax. Are you an accountant, IRL? Accountants shouldn't be allowed to evaluate Magic card abilities. Just, you know, tell us if it's over or underpriced. Can it exploit itself? It can. Yeah, life is a resource. You want to you are perfectly fine with paying that 1 damage to deal 3 to your opponent. 5% is more than Amazon pays. Now you're Amazon's accountant? Dude, have you considered that maybe you want to take 1 damage? Maybe that's a good thing? Maybe you're playing Scourge of the Skyclaves. Hear me out! Agadeem's Awakening, Infernal Grasp, Graph Reaver, 2-mana 10/10. Okay. Now that we've established that this is broken, we're going to give it a B. This card is... But anybody who's like, the downside is too much, you don't get it. You're missing an important part of Magic. You need to open your mind. That's right. That's right. Chains and whips excite me. That's right. Rihanna said it best, okay? The more Rihanna quotes we apply to our cards, the smarter we all get. Well, all right, you guys are the ones out there playing Pride Mate like it's important and smart. All right. Headless Rider. 3/1 zombie, 2 and a black. Whenever the rider or another non-token zombie dies, create a 2/2. This card's really good. It's another reason that zombie tribal might not suck. And if it's like damage-based sweepers instead of like extinction event and things like this card is a real player. This card is a real player. I think it's the other, like, another cornerstone of zombies that they need something like this. This is a B. This is a solid B member of the zombie team for me. Very good card. Very good card. He wanders the moorlands, hoping to one day chop off a head worthy of replacing his own. Wow, it sounds like a real arrogant dude. I can't relate. Necrovorson. Zorson, thank you for the tier 1. Appreciate you. Yeah, this card is great. All right. Henrika. There's a lot of text on this card. This is a very enchanting vampire. And it has a lot in common with Demonic Pact. And Rankle. Igniting, thank you for gifting that sub. Much appreciated. Here's what's up, guys. It's not as good as the other options in the spot, but it's not a terrible card. It's a good card in a slower format where mid-range is good. You can get a lot out of this card, but you need it to live, and the rest of the format just ain't about it, man. The rest of the format is not about you play your 4-mana thing and then get to untap next turn and do something with it. It's better than that freaking 5/6 Flample. It's better than that, but not much. Give it a C. Give it a C. Maybe at some point the format will shift in a way where we play 1 or 2 of this and we don't hate it. Yeah. Hero's Downfall. C-. Not a solid removal spell anymore. The act of a desperate gamer. Parasitic Grasp. Ooh. This card is good, man. This card is really good. There's so many humans. Did you know that Werewolf Pack Leader is a human? Have you considered that? Have you considered what'll happen to Sungold Sentinel and Luminarch Ass Pirate? Have you considered that? Have you considered Faceless Haven is a human? I might be too high on it with a B+, so I'm giving it a B. Because there's still a lot of things like Goldspan Dragon and Seeka's Chariot that are like, haha, you suck. And 4 toughness is an important breakpoint for the format. So B. It's another, just one of those good removal spells that'll see play if and when it's the right time based on what it hits. B. Path of Peril. Destroy all creatures with mana value 2 or less for 3 or 6 mana, destroy them all. I'm afraid it won't see much play, guys. And when it does, maybe a one of. I'm not excited. I'm gonna go with a C. I think it's really narrow. I think it's really, really narrow. Sideboard at best, probably. Maybe a one of in your best of one deck. C. Persistent Specimen. Oh my god! My skeleton swarming deck got better! CGB skeleton swarming! We want skeleton swarming, CGB! F. Draw 2 cards, lose 2 life, create a blood token. It's a lot of rate. I wouldn't be surprised if this got play sometime. C. Soren. Soren. +1, draw cards. -2, awesome creature. -7, haha, fireball. Man, the only thing I can be mad at this card for is the format. That it's like a great mid-range card in a format where mid-range is bad. That's the only thing I can pick on this card for. It's just as good as Lulth, and it curves with Lulth. It's so sweet. I'm gonna have so much fun with this and Lulth. The problem is, if my opponent copies Epiphany 4 times and I never take another turn, it doesn't really matter how many times I drew cards with those things. I would give this card an A. An A-. If Epiphany were banned. It's that close, man. It's that close. This is my show. Epiphany is not gonna run my life. Cover the children's ears. You were warned. Fuck it, Soren gets an A-. I think this card is actually awesome. In so many different kinds of decks. In sideboards, in main decks, all over the place. If there's a time to F-bomb, we're doing it for Soren, man. I'm going out on a limb for my boy. Soren and I go way back. I've been giving creatures +1/+0 and lifelink for a long time with Soren. You join the A-team. Speaking of A players, this is not one of them. This is Toxrill the Corrosive. D+ for slug power. D+ for Flava. Because what does it matter? Nobody's gonna play a D anyway. Undead Butler. Mill 3 cards. When it dies, you may exile. If you do, return creature from your graveyard to your hand. This card's better than it looks, man. But it's slow. It's the wrong format, dude. It's actually great value in a format where, like, playing a 2-mana 1/2 gets you killed. C+. This card may have its moments before it's all said and done. Target player loses 2 life, you gain 2 life, create 2 blood tokens. Dude, burn. Rakdos, burn. Filter those lands, turn them into burn spells. This card's better than it looks. I still think it's like a C at best. Probably a C-. C- D. Voldaren Bloodcaster. All right, guys. We've been through a lot, and I still don't feel like we've, like, found what makes vampires great, you know? I think this card is good, but I think it's easy to overrate it because we want vampires to be good. You know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? Come on. I'm asking serious questions. I'm not just farming chat engagement. B? Like, it dies to everything, and if it just comes down and dies, all you did was make 1 blood. I mean, that's not... You're not setting the world on fire with that play. You'd rather have a treasure, you know? But the evasion's nice. It pairs well with the other vampires. B, B minus? Something like that. I'll give it a B out of vampire optimism. But this could definitely be a B minus C before all time, you know, when we actually put it into practice. Easy to overrate this card because there's a lot of text that might all just read, I played it, I died, I got 1 blood, yippee-ki-yay, mofo. Abrade. B plus, probably more of a B now. Probably B plus at some point during its time in Standard. There will be important artifacts that need to die. And depending on how busted those artifacts are, this could get into like that ubiquitous, every deck runs a Braid no matter what, A minus range for a removal spell. It kills Chariot, yeah, and leaves behind 2 2/2s. That's not... Do you guys know what makes Chariot good? It's the fact that there's no one card that answers it well. Unless you counter it, which is pretty hard to do. They just play around it. If this said destroy target artifact and each creature takes 3 damage, it would be busted AF and it would be perfect against Chariot. And you could say, oh my god, Chariot! Chariot, CGV, it kills Chariot! It totally handles Chariot, CGV, it's a great answer to Chariot! And I'd be like, you're right, wise Twitch chatter. But while it doesn't have that text, you can't just be down there being like, Chariot! Kills Chariot dead. It's so good. Prismari Command is trying. You know, it leaves them with only 1 2/2. That's why Prismari Command gets close. And people still don't run it that much. Because it's too narrow against everything else. At least Abrade's a little better against everything else. B plus. The letter F comes to mind, but it's not for the grade. Guys, the fair use of this card is that red aggressive decks use 1 or 2 as a way to get the last turn so that they can finish the job. The thing I'm worried about is just the critical mass question. What if this card, combined with Alrund's Epiphany, combined with, you know, Goldspan Dragons and such, well, if you're just at this critical mass point where the opponent gets to 7 mana and now you don't get another turn. Or by the time you do, you're too far behind for it to matter. Because what's the best thing to draw when you play another turn card? Another turn card. And another turn card. I'm nervous, man. And I don't know where this card is going to fall. I'm going to tell you this in hindsight. I probably would have given an Epiphany like a B. Or a B minus when I was grading it. I think in hindsight we can agree that Epiphany is an A card with all that's gone on since its printing. Like, it is an A threat. It is a format definer. This is not A. Like, if there were no Epiphany in the format, this wouldn't be nearly as scary. So this is like piling onto that critical mass. So where do you grade it? And is it even worth it? Because that deck is already solid. It has so many good cards. I don't know, guys. This could easily be in like the C range and be just a super niche card. Easily. It could be. It could be. Yeah, I think the card itself is a C or a C minus, a niche player. You know, that wouldn't show up that much. It's just the context of the situation we find ourselves in that you might see, like, the opponent might go like turn 5, Goldspan Dragon, say they have a treasure from a Prismari command or a Galzeth Prismari, and they attack with their Goldspan Dragon, and then they cast this, and then they untap, and then they play another dragon, or they just attack you for enough to kill you, or they power up their Hall of Storm Giants, and you're just dead. And it's because of all the stuff around this card, not this card itself. I don't think I can give this card a grade that makes sense. I don't think it's possible. I'm going to give it a C, but I don't know what else to do with this, because it really is the circumstances we live in that make it so dangerous. Cemetery Gatekeeper. I think this card is pretty good. I think combined with the way that blood tokens work, I think this card is a player, and I think the first strike is super underrated, and I think people need it. Because you need to be able to attack through those larger creatures on the ground, and vampires didn't have a great way to do that. They have Menace, so you had to be able to remove some of the smaller ones, but this first strike can kind of charge in, and the opponent has to make a judgment call of blocking and letting your removal spells trade up. I think this is like a B. I think it's a B. Card gets a B from me. Dress to kill, you say? Dressed to kill. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. It seems like her odds of survival are so low, and there's this nasty fail state where she exiles your top card and you can't cast it. It's very sad. There's also the plus, though, where you make mana, and making mana is good, and red decks want to go to 5 mana because Goldspan Dragon is busted. And the other cards are very medium. The 1 damage to a player or planeswalker is a nice little bonus. It helps trigger the vampire tribal kind of bloodlust theme. The 1 damage to a planeswalker can kill off a Lulth. Three mana is very low. And there aren't exactly good red 3-drops, guys. That's part of it. White has like 50 good 3-drops. Red has 1. Reckless Stormseeker, which isn't very good on the draw. This isn't good on the draw either. But what is? I don't know, man. She's a great threat if left unchecked, but Magic doesn't work that way. Help me, guys. What do you grade this? I'm like torn. Because I could see this being like a C+, sideboard at best. It's hard for me to picture it just being a main deck, like, staple card. Seems like a lot of bad things would happen to it on the regular. I want to give it a B- because I love Chandra. Seems decent for the first ability. I mean, that's decent if nothing bad is happening to you, you know? If your opponent's doing nothing, that's great. I'm giving it a C+. I'm giving it a C+, guys. I think that there is definitely a spot for this card. It's not trash. It's not a D for dumpster like some of you are saying. It's a good sideboard card, you know? And it's good in some matchups. And it's just going to be bad in any place where the opponent can just run it over. Even worse if they can ignore it completely. Change of Fortune. Discard your hand, then draw a card for each card you've discarded this turn. I would give this an F. But there's a card called Galvanic Iteration, which, if you discard 4 cards to the first copy, if you cast Galvanic Iteration, then this. Say you discard 4 cards, you draw 4 cards, then you discard 4 cards again, then you draw 8. That's a lot of cards. But I still don't think it's good. D+. Creepy Puppeteer. You can make something else a 4/3. 4/3 haste. D+. Fringe Player. Maybe I'm wrong. I'd like to be wrong, but I have a feeling this isn't that good. And I don't want to look at creepy puppets anyway. Curse of Hospitality. I mean, if you're spending turn 3 to give your creatures this ability and you're not plowing the road for them, and you're hoping your opponent doesn't interact with you, that doesn't line up well to me. I think this is it's a good card in a vacuum. It's just, I don't think you can spend 3 mana on this. I think you got to be doing other things. I'm going to give it a D. I would love to be wrong. I'm going to give it a D. Dominating Vampire. It only works in the Vampire deck, but man does it work in the Vampire deck. And it only works against other creature decks to its max effect. And it's okay against control. I still think it's like a 2 of max and maybe some more in the sideboard. I'm going to give it a C+. I'm not sure that this is what the format's going to be about, but this could be a rock star. It's possible. This could be a thing. I'm just skeptical that'll be the main thing that those decks are about. So, yeah, I'm giving this one a C+. Might be wrong. This could be a B. Maybe even a B+ before the format's done. Flame Blessed Bolt. It's Magma Spray. But it hits Planeswalkers now. B. Solid B. There'll be times where you want to run this over a shock because the exile is relevant. That's the way the card works. That's how solid removal spells work. Ill-Tempered Loner. Oh my gosh. Where does this fit? I could see this. What's weird is if this saw no play, I'd be like, yeah, I should have seen that coming. And if this saw endless play, I'm going to be like, I should have seen that coming. I think with the way the format is, it's really hard to stay on this side. And if you're on this side, this thing is a monster. And if you're on this side, it's still a really good card that makes all kinds of combat difficult. And if removal is mostly red, which it is right now, and not black or white, which are far less played in terms of control. It's all about Izzet. It's all about Grixis. It's all about Jeskai, you know? Like, this is so much better against those removal effects than it is, say, against a Doomscar. So it's super contextual about the format. So I don't think that A is appropriate. On that note, it's about when and where it's going to play. I'm gonna give it a B minus because I think that it's really rough against bounce spells, but man, I'm probably gonna be wrong about this card. There's something from, if this were a clip, in a month I'm gonna be like, well, yeah, that was obviously wrong. I know I've got something wrong. I've gotta play with this card. I've gotta play with this card. And I remember Boros Reckoner. Boros Reckoner was a hell of a card. It was in every type of deck. So I look forward to seeing what this card does. This is an exciting card. I don't think it can be an A, so I'm just gonna give it a B minus. I'm gonna err on the cautious side, but man, I wouldn't be surprised if it turns out to be a very good card. Let's just look at this. The puppy is getting struck by lightning and appears to like it. Just saying. I don't care about the stats or what the card does. Just look at the puppy. Look at the fluffy puppy. All right. Mana Form Hellkite. Dude, I think this deck has more like untap and they die potential than so many other cards in the set. And yet, like Arjuna says, there's always a 4-mana 4/4 that looks so good. But this one really feels like if you untap with this, they're gonna die. It really, it seems like so much power. But I don't think it's like a 4 of. Maybe I'm wrong about that. Maybe it is. Ah, man. This is like taking that risk of where that 4-mana 4/4 flyer just, that never works out. What about this? Does this card get it done? Guys, I want to give it an A minus. Am I insane? I want to do it. Is this another scam? Another 4-mana 4/4 flyer scam at Mythic? It might be a scam, you guys. All right, A minus. But the weird thing is, it doesn't even need it. Like, if it didn't have this card, it would still be super powerful. So why do we need this card? I don't know, man. A minus. We're doing it. It's joining the A team. It's on the A team. Maybe I'm wrong. Vincent, thank you for the 23 human raid. Shout out. Get some purple love in the chat. You want blood? You got it. There will be blood. Menace, whenever it deals damage, create that many blood tokens. Whenever it deals damage to anything, you guys, create that many blood tokens. Holy crap. Have you considered what happens with this in Commander with Chandra's Ignition? Just saying, that's a lot of blood. That is painting the table red. Dare Grief 76, thank you for the 13 months. But yeah, this maybe as a reanimation target. It is too expensive for standard. You get a D. D. Too expensive. F. F minus. Why the hell is this even a card, let alone a rare one? What a joke. Way to take up spot in the set. Solid sideboard card. If the Vampires Dex works, this card will be in the sideboard. C+. Jaffer MTG flies in. Thanks for the tier 1, my friend. Congrats on partner. I haven't had a chance to say it with my words. Volatile Arsonist. You know what I hate? I hate how good this card is, and it'll see no play because of Goldspan frickin' Dragon. This card is powerful. I'd be like questioning B+ to A, and then there's this like solid A+ card, Goldspan Dragon, just taking up space in the frickin' format, you know? I guess I'll give it a B. Volatile Visionary, Voltaic Visionary. People like this card, dude. People are excited because it can turn into a 2-mana 4/3 that can't block, but it has to take that turn off from attacking. And it doesn't damage the opponent during that turn. And you have to hit a card that's playable, that's interesting. I hate this card. I don't think this card is any good. I mean, there's only so bad it can be as a 2-mana 3/1 with an ability that can get bigger. But I mean, it's like a C for me. Maybe C-. I don't think this is that good. We'll see if I'm wrong. I mean, it's solid. It's definitely a good card. And it's definitely going to see play. I don't know that green did need it. Like, I don't know if it's as powerful as the rest of it. Pellet Collector at home. Pellet Collector is really, really good, though. This format was supposed to be powering down. I don't think it changes. I mean, maybe it does. Like, maybe we bring Jaspera Sentinel back and give it another look because now there's a 1-drop. Like, in Mono Green, you couldn't go Sentinel 2-drop 1-drop because there were just 1-1-drop. Now there's, you know, potentially 8 1-drops, so maybe you want to go Sentinel into Pack Leader, into other Pack Leader, into Chariot, grow this thing. So maybe Sentinel is good again. Maybe it's good with this. But the cards in green are so good, how do you make room? That's the problem. I don't think that this card can be an A on its own, because it really doesn't carry a deck by itself. I will give it a B+. It's a very, very good card. A very, 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 very good card. And I do think it'll re-examine whether or not we're playing Sentinel again. Because Sentinel got cut from Mono Green. They just had no 1-drops. Now they could be back up to 8. Makes it a much faster deck. Makes it much better against Izzet. Maybe it keeps up better with the BFFs, Sentinel and Magda. Caretaker. B-. Most formats and most matchups, this card doesn't matter. Too slow. Not great. But in the games where this does matter, or the formats where it could matter, it can take over a game. So, B-. Super contextual. The Prowler. Who's a good doggy found a bone? Who's a good doggo? Who's a good doggo? What a card. Probably the best of this cycle, still a role player, right? I don't think that this makes an archetype necessarily unless some really nutty stuff happens, such as making your artifact creatures cost 2 less to play, and this could become a key in that. There's no way it's like an A, because it's barely even competing for the 3-drop spot in green, because their cards are already that good. But this card will make some things interesting. It's going to do neat stuff. This is It's a solid B, right? Plays a really sweet role. And it does have some unique text that can enable some nutty stuff, but I don't think that's where this card is mostly going to be. I think this is just going to be nice text, not the point of the card a good amount of the time. Makes your big wolves easier to play. Dude, you can't play anything that's like 5 or greater as a wolf. It just gets divided by 0, bounced, doombladed. Like, yeah, it makes those things cheaper, but you still can't play them. Cultivator Colossus. Raw. The big one. That's a big one, kids. Go hello. First time chat. Is this standard or historic? Standard. Best of 1 for the most part. Although I will mention sideboarding. Standard. Fantastic tomato. Or tomato. Whichever Arjuna's not saying. Thank you for the prime. I wish this card were good, guys. I wish this card were good. Look at that price tag. Jeez. Commander, you say? People love this effect in Commander. D+. Just not a standard card. And even making the trigger requires additional hoops to jump through. You don't usually have your 8th land chilling in your hand when you have 7. Dig it up. C+. I think this card is a decent flexible card and a solid mid-range card. And that's mostly not what the format is about. While Magic remains very tempo-y, this card's slow. It's more of a brewer's card. You know, there'll be all kinds of nonsensey Sultai and Jund brews that'll include a couple of this, but it's not the point. So C+. Glorious Sunrise. D+, too slow. Not what Standard's really about, but maybe I'll make a Dirtly control deck that uses this like a Mirari's Wake. You just play this, and you stall, and you let it gain you all this value and mana, and then eventually you win. Yeah, that's Arlen and Teferi, can't you tell? Looks so much like them. Henge but bad. Look, man, everything's bad compared to Henge. Yeah, how come it doesn't turn it to day? They just didn't want to put the day night on another card? Okay. I mean, Bad Moon doesn't make it night, does it? Hamlet Vanguard. How many people actually believe in human tribal? I'm gonna play turn 1, Star Pupil. Turn 2, Join the Dance. Turn 3, 7/7 Ward 2. Kiss my human ass. Nah. This card is pure optimism, and it will kill you sometimes. It will kill you sometimes. But I'm giving it, like, I don't think this makes an archetype on its own. I don't think it's a key card. I think it's situational. I think the floor is too low. So I'm going to give it a C+. What the hell is Beekeeper Raiden doing here? How did this card get in this set? What does this ability or this card have to do with anything? At all? What is this? F. I can't get the frickin' Moon song out of my head. What are we drawing cards from? Kami of the crescent moon. I can't get it out of my head. I can't get it out of my head. F. Hallpack Piper. Man, does this thing look annoying. It feels like this card could be sideboard against control and just be really, really annoying if they have literally nothing to kill or interact with a creature. But this is a D to me. This is one of the most Dies to Doomblade things you've ever seen. Mulch is a B, maybe a B minus. It does have the potential to draw 2 or 3 cards, make sure you hit your land drops, and fills your graveyard. It's actually a really good card. Anybody who never played with it before or never saw it do its thing, it's not as good as Satyr Wayfinder, which I wish they'd reprint more than anything, one of my favorite cards. But this is a good card. B minus. Speaking of B not minus, I think this could be a B minus. This is a card I haven't seen many people talk about that is probably better than it looks. First of all, creepy. Really good taxidermy you did there. But 2 mana 1/2 that becomes a 4/4 in a graveyard deck could be good. C plus or B minus. I'll go with. I'll get a little more cynical and go with a C plus. We'll go with a C plus. Cool card. If I missed something with how cards like I'm not going to go down the rabbit hole again of trying to figure out if Valakut Awakening, Lotus Cobra, and Nahiri Lithoforming make a cool combo deck. But this card might give it something it needs. For me, this card's a C or worse. But we'll see. I'm not going exploring on that deck, but the crazy combo brewers might find something with this card. I hope they do. That would be interesting. I'm just going to give it a C and move on. Accepting I might be wrong. Look, Ma, questing beast at home. It is a really ferocious, grotesque, and terrifying thing that you can transform this into. But that's all flavor text. I don't think that's ever happening. C minus. I don't think that this is the threat you're looking for anytime soon. Angie, the Maid of Dishonor. Been a long time since we saw this card. We've finally seen the rest of the set. This ability triggers only once each turn. But this is one of the better ways to get blood. And this is also one of the better ways to use blood. It really is. A little Siege Rhino-ish action. Can you play this, though, instead of Immerstrom Predator? You have to really like sacrificing your vampires to play Predator. This, you don't have to sacrifice your vampires for this to be all right. And at least it does something when it enters the battlefield. I'm gonna give it, so here's the thing. I think that this gets played in vampires, but I don't think that's a good thing for vampires, because I think vampires needed something just a little better. So if you're playing this, it means vampires didn't get as far as you really wanted it to go. But I think you are playing it. So I'm gonna give it a B-. Maybe it actually deserves something more like a B. But I wish it was a little better, you know what I mean? I wish vampires were a little better. Harvester? B-. I don't think it's the best of the 2-drop vampires. I think it's worse than the other two. The Mythic with First Strike, the 2/1 Flyer that makes blood when it dies. I think those are better overall. But this is still really good, and it competes for that spot. So, B- for this Blood Tithe Harvester. C-. Lingering Souls at Home. Oh man, I still don't know what I'm going to say about this card. I've been thinking about this card a lot. It's white and it's blue and it hits for 4 and then it comes back and hits for more. And I don't know where to put it. I don't know where to put this card. I really don't know. This is an A. I don't think it can be an A. Like, hit the opponent for 4 or try to block something. Go to the graveyard, bring back the aura. They kill the creature that you tried to enchant with the aura, because you can definitely see this coming from a mile away. And all you did was 4 damage to something. That is not format defining. You know, that's Thundering Rebuke scuffed that the opponent had agency in. It's not an A. I'm honestly on like C plus B minus range, guys. I see A's in the chat. I'm in like C plus B minus range. It's a card I need to play with to really understand, so I could get this one wrong. I'm skeptical of myself. I'm gonna give it a B minus. I'm gonna try to keep a little optimism. I wouldn't be surprised if this never got played. Edgar! Egg! C plus B minus. Really sweet card. Good mid-range card. Not what the format's about. Difficult colors, although probably casting it won't be that hard with Pathways and the Voldaren Estate. Not a great threat all on its own, though. Needs the team. Not on its own a good reason to play vampires, a sidekick, a role player. B minus out of respect for my elders. But you almost got a C, dude. Okay, I don't know what I'm gonna grade this card. Because this is a card I feel I could easily be missing the whole boat on. Because play it on turn 3 and it gets bounced or died or ran over and you're like, yeah, that wasn't good, was it? I want to know, kind of like the way I really missed Lear in the last set, what is this card like on turn 6 if you just stall the game? What is it like on turn 8 if you just stall the game? Like, how does this card scale? Ooh. How does this card scale? Seems like it scales pretty aggressively. Like, in the late game, if this doesn't die right away, it seems like a lot of crazy stuff could happen. And you can play with that 3-mana draw 3 that reduces hand size and exile 6 cards. If you have some way to generate mana, like some of the treasure combo-y stuff going on, like, you're just whoosh. Like you're gone. You know what I mean? It's only this turn though. Yeah, you're not going to sit there and put like 12 counter spells in your hand. You're going to have to actually make use of your cards. There's probably ways to do that. There's probably plenty of ways to do that. I mean, consider a card like Goldspan Dragon. It makes a lot of mana, you know? Makes a lot of mana available. So you can do a lot of things with those cards you draw. This plus Leer, a little extra, but pretty crazy. So yeah, I'm not sure what to give this card. We might look back and be like, well, that turned out to be one of the most important cards in the set. We might look back and be like, it didn't do anything. Format just wasn't about that. Didn't work out. Riel 2.0. Yeah, Riel was a very fringe player. It's true. I think this is better than that, though. You don't need to do really anything other than draw a card to trigger it, which guess what? You get to do that every turn anyway. And if you hit cards that draw cards, you're just going. But remember Bergie? We kind of thought Bergie's horn was going to be this, right? We thought Bergie was going to be this. Bergie is chilling in the junk rare bin, guys. So we've talked a lot about the upside of this card. Compare it to Bergie and you're like, oh, maybe it's not that great. I don't think I can give this a grade that's going to be accurate. I think it could go in a number of ways and I need to play it, but I'm going to give it a B. And I'm going to be safe. And I'm not going to hot take it. And I know I'm a failure as a content creator. If you guys want to give some grades in chat, do it now. D minus. If they print a ton of changelings or aggressive frogs, then you're telling me there's a chance. The partners. I mean, it's strong. They are counters. And haste is nice. But another creature? Kind of sad. Kind of sad. D plus. Kaya. -2. Twice that many of those tokens are created. Chariot. Guys, it doesn't do anything on its own, man. It does actual nothing. Nothing. Think of all the cards you're suggesting in chat that aren't All Runs Birds or Chariot. They all suck. If you have those cards, you're already winning. You don't need this. Look, guys, I've tried to make a number of token decks. I really like Rite of Harmony. I really like Battle for Bredegard. I really like a lot of things that make tokens in this meta. None of those ever made it to YouTube. You know why? The opponent played Old Growth Troll and I lost. The opponent played Redain and I lost. It's just not close, man. Not close to good, to be honest, you know? Just not close. D plus, guys. I'm sorry, Kaya. I love Kaya. 3-mana Planeswalker. It's hard to give a 3-mana Planeswalker a D, but I'm doing it. It's hard to give a 3-mana Planeswalker a grade like this. Give a shout out to MTG Malone in the chat, celebrating a 1-year anniversary today. Dual streaming on Twitch and YouTube. Wish I could do that. I got contract issues, man. But thanks for stopping by. Man, I feel bad. What a wild card killer this is. Audric. There will be blood. It might be yours, so go kill, cut someone. Dine bad horse. Bad horse, bad horse, bad horse. He's bad. The evil league of evil is watching, so beware. This grade that you receive will be the last, we swear. So make the bad horse gleeful, or we'll make you his mare. There will be blood, it might be yours, so go kill someone. Sign bad horse. F. Actual F. Can you believe they did Audric so dirty? So dirty. Oh man, so dirty. Mom's Basement. Thanks for the Prime Gaming sub. Dr. Horrible Singing deserves a sub. Yeah, you damn right about that. Glad somebody got that. Old Rutstein. Isn't this card cool? I don't know why it's got a little purple in the corner, but I think this card is cool. It's just a lot of little value. A little of this, a little of that. It's not really what Magic is about anymore, unfortunately. So, role player, good value, but it's no tireless tracker. If there were a clue in there, give me a little tireless tracker, I get pumped, you know. I give it a B, but I gotta give him like a C+. It's just really unlikely, I think, that decks are gonna be about this anytime soon. The Bride. Dun 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 dun. D. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to give you a D on your big day. I hate to do it. I know. Terrible. So rude. Ice cold. Comes out, lovely dress, put on this big event, couple $1 billion wedding, festivities. Invited the one in best of one, didn't actually invite me. We crashed. And you know what? It sucks. It's all a fail. And you get a D. You know, I should be able to say the letter D without being judged in this way. I'm disappointed in Twitch chat, quite honestly, for not having the maturity to see through the letter D and allow me to just use it as a grade. I'm really surprised. I wasn't thinking about it like that at all. Not even a little. Totally not even a little. If this card didn't just get killed and then you exile the other thing too, I'd try to find a use for it, but 6 mana, man. 6 mana? God, so much. I want to be wrong. Runo. Guys, I still haven't read this whole card. I've never read the back side. I read the front side, about half of it, and I got bored. I'm giving this another D. The D stands for dumb. I'm not even reading the back of it. I don't care. I'm just over dumb rares with 2 sides. Strixhaven had like 50 of them. The last set had a bunch of them, and I'm off it. I'm off it, man. I'm off it. This card could do some stupid things. Exploiting machine here. I just don't think that those things are gonna matter as much as people hope they do. You might make a bunch of tutus, and your opponent might take all the turns and you'll die. So, this might be part of a zombie exploit theme deck. And I think that deck will suck. C+. Fisting the Angels. Torrens. Coming in strong. Is a cleric. Clerics are a type. Has training. I don't know if training's good. Still gotta play with that. Feels a lot worse on 3-drop than a 1-drop. But whenever you cast any creature spell, you get a 1/1 token. You get like a Hero Precinct 1 type effect. I don't know. What if this card is okay? The token has training, so it could get bigger. That's nice. Hero was good, but man, did Magic change a lot right after Hero was good. And then Hero was bad for like a year. It was terrible after Eldraine came out. Are we in a post Eldraine world now where Hero would be good again? I'm not sure. I'm not convinced. I still feel like this format has a lot of the polarizing no mid-ranges viableness of Eldraine. I think there's still a lot of Eldraine leftovers on this format. The scars have not completely healed. So I'm going to give this card a C-, because I don't think it's going to get there, even though it looks like a pretty good card. I think it's a trap. I read this card, and I think it's a trap. I wish this were good. There's a lot on a 2-mana 2/3 in Simic here, including Reach, the Milling. I wish I could like this card, but this Activate as a sorcery is some BS, man. So it's still just a C. This card. This card. Oh my god, this value. This value. Here's the thing. It has weird competition. For 3 mana, would you rather play this or Expressive Iteration? And I know, Expressive Iteration is a 2-mana card, but you play it on 3 and you usually hit a land, and you usually play the land and do nothing else with your turn. So, what's your turn 3 of choice? This or Expressive Iteration? Expressive Iteration is more cards and selection. This is a card and selection. Expressive Iteration can't really whiff. This can whiff, even though it sounds impossible, it can. This attacks and blocks. Expressive Iteration creates no board presence. But here's the thing. Expressive Iteration is busted. That card is seeing play across so many formats, mostly because older formats have cheap 1-mana cards that you can play the same turn as the Iteration. Very, very effective. Standard doesn't really have that. But the fact that we're comparing them gives you a hint. Arcane Infusion might be better than this card. Wrong. That's not close to correct. I have tried to make Infusion work. That card sucks compared to like Iteration, and it would definitely suck compared to this. That is straight up lies. Don't put that in chat. You'll get your privileges taken away. You can't be spreading that kind of fake news. That's my job. All right. B+. I don't think it can be an A. It's not going to define how to build decks or the format, but my gosh, do I think this thing could have an impact. And it creates this redundancy for Izzet that's disgusting. I wouldn't be surprised if this is actually like a 2 of, because it does have diminishing returns. You play this, you reveal 3 of this and 3 land, and you get nothing. Nothing, Jon Snow. Not good. So this is maybe like a 2 of, whereas Iteration's a pretty easy 3 to 4. But I still think it's a B plus in the decks that want it. I think any Is It deck with a reasonable spell density, you're like, oh god, this is a really solid turn 3. Better than like a Prismari command usually is. Better than a Divide by Zero might be, because this doesn't get taxed by Thalia like Divide by Zero will be, which is gonna be a big deal. I'm telling you, it's gonna be a big deal. This card is sweet. B plus. Somebody's like, you missed a card. No, I didn't. Trash, 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 trash. I only see trash. I missed nothing. Dollhouse of Horrors. Creepy memers. Creepy meme players will enjoy this card. It's kind of neat. But I'm not playing a 5-mana artifact. A Braid just got printed, so I'm not doing it. D. Journal. Usually by the time I finish reading this card, I've forgotten what it did. Something turned me off completely. Creatures. Mazebind Tome at home. D. Lantern of the Lost. This is a B. This will probably see play as a way to check graveyards. It'll have its moments from sideboards. And it's good at that. Like a solid removal spell. Gets a B. Yorion! D minus. Man, can I just say these lands are awesome? I just want to give these A's and be done with it. These lands are sweet. So we're gonna give them honorable place on the A team for sure. Like, just move right in. The weird thing is, giving them all an A is disingenuous. They should probably all get B's, except for this one. This one should probably get an A. I mean, if you talk about casting spells, don't you need good spells to cast? Oh my gosh. Now Is It mana is better. Like, the only thing we had was sometimes clunky mana. No! I almost got through this whole stream without closing Scryfall. We almost made it, chat. It was close. Voldaren Estate. Guys. I don't think the vampire deck would stand a chance being 3 colors if it didn't have this card. This card is amazing in vampires. It's exactly what they need. It's everything they need. It's probably the best vampire card. Because it means that vampires have good enough mana to play across multiple colors. B plus. B plus land here for the tribals. We did it. Ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end of the Covert Go Blue Innistrad Crimson Vow set review. Can you believe 2 hours? About 20 minutes of banner to start the video, and about 2 hours, we actually went through the whole frickin' thing. Can you believe it? You're welcome, Internet. Let's check out the A team one more time. Not much. Sorin, the Mirthless. Screw that Epiphany card. We're pretending it doesn't exist. You will not take Sorin's A-list away because of some stupid blue sorcery and some dumb birds. Maniform Hellkite. I might be out of my range on this one. I might be scammed here. I'm being honest with you. This could be a scam, but I feel like this is an untap with it and win card. And yeah, it dies to Doomblade, but if you play it on like turn 7 or 8, you do get something out of it. And maybe you just protect it a little. Maybe that's okay. I'm not sure, but it did make the A team. I think it's the 4-mana 4/4 flyer that breaks through and does the job. Thalia. The only card I gave a solid A to. This is A-, this is an A-, this was an A. I guess that makes it, in my opinion, the card of the set. The best card in the set. The Hope. It takes a tier 1 deck already, mono white, and gives it serious game against its arch enemy. It also is really good and underrated against mono green. Think about it. Tax Run in 7, Tax Chariot, Tax Blizzard Ball. Big difference between a 2-mana card and a 1-mana card. Literally double the cost. Not uncastable, but it screws up the curve, man. Inscription? So much harder to kick that Inscription now, isn't it? Yep, Ranger's class gets taxed. Harder to hold up Snakeskin Veil. Does so much good. It does so much good. And if you just want to hold off the opponent's team, just pile your Ass Pirate counters on it. Card of the set? Maybe. We'll have to see. Thalia giving the humans hope against the evil Is-It Turns nonsense and their dragon kind. That's the set to me, guys. If you want to see it in action, you know where to be. Thursday. Tune in. We're going to pop a ridiculous amount of packs and throw a ridiculous amount of money at the set. Bust out a whole bunch of new cards. See what kind of damage we can do. So, final thoughts on the set. I'm nervous Vampires isn't good enough, but we're gonna try. I would love to be wrong about Vampires. I think what's wrong with the set, if you want to criticize it, I think it made the good decks better without giving the new decks enough. I think it gave mono white, mono green, and Is-It great tools, and gave everybody else more mediocre fluff. I think that's, if you were to criticize, I think that's where you'd go with it. Yellow Hat rating 641 crazy people on the Yellow Hat song. What's up, guys? Greet them. Hit the spinnies and the purple loves, please. Welcome the great Gabriel Nassif, Hall of Famer, to the chat. And of course, we should spin a little song for you. You must like this song. I mean, I will take the opportunity to play it. So, thanks for the raid. I've got some bad news, Raiders. I'm actually logging off. Yeah, we just finished the set review. We were recapping the A-list of the set, which for me is only 3 cards, if you want my opinion. Sorin, Maniform Hellkite, Thalia. That's my A-list for the set. And I am concerned that the set is going to do a lot to make the best decks better and give the decks that needed help to compete with them a little bit, but probably not enough to be the A-list. But that's the show. We're going to wrap it up. Also managed to do a set review in 2 hours, which I think is a pretty big achievement. But don't worry. We always raid. So we'll send you somewhere nice and salty, or nice and enthusiastic. I don't know which. Thank you, everybody, for the follows. Appreciate you a lot. We will be live, of course, on Thursday, trying out the new cards, putting them to work, seeing what we can do with them. But on that note, it's time to take that ride. Yep, you know the one. Into the sunset. It's my show. But what makes it special? That's right. It's all of you. Thanks for taking the time out of your day to chill with the one and best of one.
Stuck here.
You?
Life.
Yes, you.
There must be something else out there. Waiting, you know? Just for us.
You're cool.
We could run away. Just leave. Never look back. I don't even care where we go. Just far away from here. I'll come with you.
Faked our deaths, lit a match, closed the door, waited for the flash. Greyhound station, paid in cash. It's Lazarus, we coming back. They say it's darkest before the dawn. We've been in this town for far too long. They say it's darkest before the dawn. We're moving on, we're moving on, we're moving on. Sunset, no regrets. First chance, last dance, stuck in the middle. Even bad girls, no good love. You taste so sweet, it hurts a little. Make our home where we stand. One suitcase and half a plan. Follow the wolves and sing along. Pass the voices to the song.